This is a short video to show you how I've filled in the roles and responsibilities while creating a job description. On the left, you're going to see a very thorough job description. Now, this is used internally. This is not the job description that's going to be posted to the public. That's what's referred to as a job ad. That's going to be condensed for marketing and advertising purposes to attract the ideal client or the ideal candidate. The job description is used internally to make sure that the roles and responsibilities are clear. So how I was able to fill this out was on the right, you're going to see a flowchart. So we've already gone through the practice of identifying what tasks, what processes, I should say, need to be completed for this process, right? Which is the process of media production, which the videographer and editor falls into. Now, in this process, there is also a marketing director, which has portions of this. But you'll notice each stage in this flowchart also corresponds to this list here in the job description. Now, the job description only includes the part of the flowchart specifically for the videographer and the editor. In our job description, we've merged those two individuals together. However, if later on down the road we wanted to split the role into two, the flowchart is already ready for that. And the job description we would copy and paste to a separate one and then strip out the editor from the videographer and the videographer from the editor. So I've gone through here and written copy and paste in the roles and responsibilities from my flowchart. The flowchart is the number one thing that has to be done before writing a job description. I've done it in the past where I've sat there trying to write a job description and not being clear on what the job role needs to do and kind of writing it and it's like wrong. And I've rewritten job descriptions a million times because every time we would hire somebody, we would update it, getting a little bit better. When I could have just created a flow chart where the role is included in it and showing the whole process, and then just have to copy and paste, and now it's done. If the flow chart gets updated in the future, no problem. Those job descriptions should be done, but it's laid out. I'm not having to think about it anymore. It's already laid out here as a process. So all those portions are here. So now, when it comes time to build the KPIs for the role, which is going to be on another document called the job scorecard, I can look at this list and pick out 3 to 5 key numbers that we're going to need, for example. So in this job, I'm probably going to be focusing on production and post-production for KPIs. But there might be something here for pre-production, meaning, how many video ideas are generated per month. That might be a good one to make sure that it's being coordinated. And so this is making it easier, and that's still another mental task that has to be done for KPIs, but at least got the starting point. Now, the job description has other things in here, so the education requirements for the role, other requirements. Now, this is key. Requirements are super key. What requirements does the individual have to even be able to do these other things? So you'll see for the videographer, they have to have a reliable vehicle to commute. They've got to have their standard G2 driver's permit. They've got to have access to a desktop or a laptop. And here is the specs of that desktop or laptop that they must have or better. They must have access to internet connection. And then some of the skills required, which are pretty straightforward. Now, competencies come out of the book Topgrading. And for manager positions, which this isn't, there's 50 competencies that are super key for managers. I've stripped out the manager ones, so there's about 35, 40-ish here. And they're color coded. So red is very difficult to change. Either that person has it or they don't. Either they meet your minimum rating for that during the interview process and during their onboarding 90 days, or they don't and they have to be declined or let go. Yellow, it's hard to change, but it's doable with some experience and coaching. And so this is where yellow items have to really be gauged by the manager of that individual to have a improvement plan in place to really work on that stuff. And if they're not able to be worked on but required, right? Like there's a minimum rating. So throughout the employment, they're going to constantly be scored against that rating. And if they drop off, they're going to be on a performance improvement plan. And if they fall out, then they'll have to be let go. And green is incredibly easy to change. And so those usually acquire over time and experience. And I mean, if someone's not changing those, they probably don't have the desire to really be working in this role. Should go find another role. And then that's it. So this is a job description. This is complete. From here now, I can write the job ad. I can complete the job scorecard for the metrics that are going to be used to measure the person in the role. And then we're complete. We're then ready to onboard the individual that meets the requirements during the interview phase. And now we have a toolkit for their manager to use to manage performance, help that person improve as an individual, and have good success in the role and in the company and in that department. This is a combination of learning from a few spots. I'm going to give credit. The flowchart on the right really it's come from Errol Allen Consulting, as well as John Matzner on Twitter. Topgrading, the book. The son of that writer who wrote Who. And this is a culmination of all of these guys put together. So if you really want to dive deep, learn how, go check those resources out. And then I encourage you to dive in and start getting your processes and job descriptions to match and really make a good environment, ecosystem for your team to thrive and for you as a manager or owner to stop pulling your hair. All right, go get it.